Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to another episode of Jermaine Morgan TV. Yeah, I wanted to do this one live. This is a slightly different video today, so I'm hoping everything flows the way I intended for it to flow. So I wanted to do this again. It's a slightly different video today. You saw the title, Until Now, kind of behind the process of what this song is really about. I want to actually share a couple of songs today that I wrote. So this is more for the creatives, or if you are somebody who's listened to any of my music and you want to know more so about the creative process behind the song. I realized just the other day I was talking with my daughter. I'm like, I never really shared with anybody what this, the meaning of this song was about. So if you guys are familiar with any of my music, I have, we did a couple of band records called the Jermaine Morgan Band. And we did Dreams Work Reality Part 1, and then we did a Dreams Work Reality Part 2. And so with this particular song, the idea and the thought behind one of the songs I'm going to be sharing today, this song is called The Tribute. And why does it matter to you? Because I know people can get deep about their music because it's personal to them. Well, in these songs with Dreams Work Reality, I was trying to be very intentional about making sure that this music actually was beneficial to the listener and that the listener really got something out of these songs. So this song called The Tribute, in particular, I wrote this song. It was initially going to be a tribute to my grandmother, who passed away in 2016. And I heard this big song in my head. It was one day, I think I was getting out of the shower. I get music in random places. And I heard, just this really, really huge song in my mind. And as I started developing it, I started hearing the way that I wanted it to come together. And then as I got into the process of creating the song, I said, you know what, I feel like this will be a great song for anybody else who's experienced the loss of a loved one and, that kind of thing. And so in my mind, it was like a song of healing. And the idea of the song, we're going to talk about it and then I'm going to play it because I don't want to stop the song, interrupt the song to explain it. So the song starts out. So my grandmother, I'm from Mississippi originally. So my grandmother grew up backwoods Baptist church, so it was a song they used to sing back in the day called I Know I've Been Changed. Some of my old school, Christian folk, y'all know about that song, old school church. And I got my mom to sing the song old school style. So I'm like, I don't need nothing real pretty. I need it more old school, the way you sing it. So I got my mom to come on here and sing the particular song. And so the song transitions, and the idea of the song for anybody that, that cares about this, it starts out with her singing the lyrics of the song. So as a child, you're going through life and you give your life to the Lord somewhere in your life. And then it goes through the whole thing about being baptized and all this type of stuff, like back how they were in the day, being baptized in a pool or something like that, a creek or something along that line. So it's got that really, really old school vibe happening to it. And then so midway through the song is like the idea for me as a creator, as a writer, the way I was seeing the song and the way I was writing and creating it. It's like you're going through the life of this person and you're seeing this person's life through their eyes, and it's like it shifts from this person, then it shifts to you. So you're going through the life of this person, and it gets midway through the song, and there's a really melodic part where it's like it's towards the end of their life where everything is beautiful, and then there's a part where it gets like to the very end of their life where you can hear in the song there's a breath. There's the last breath in the song. And that breath is supposed to represent when that person takes their last breath. Then the part that happens right after that is this agony. I play like a guitar solo, and it's supposed to be this agony that the people, us who are left, that we feel as that person departs. It's like a real agony section. Then it breaks down and it goes into this talk where I'm talking and, talking about the plan of salvation, all this and the other. And then we go into this whole thing about I'm going to see Jesus someday. And that's, to me, the transitional period of the song. Now, I want to play two songs, and you'll hear there's a hymn at the very end of this song. Many of you, I don't want to ruin it, many of you might recognize this hymn if you haven't heard the song already. And then I'll talk about the next song when we get there. So I don't plan to be all day on this video, but I want to give you the walk down of kind of what I was thinking in here. But without further ado, I'm going to play the tribute by the Jermaine Morgan Band. So here it is. What's going on, Alexis? I'm going to try not to talk. If you don't believe that I've been redeemed, you know the angels in heaven done sign my name. Oh, follow me down to the Jordan stream. You know the angels in heaven done sign my name. Stepped in the water, but the water was cold. You know the angels in heaven done sign my name. Oh, it chilled my body, but it didn't chill my soul. You know the angels in heaven done sign my name. Obviously the transitional part of the song. In the Bible, there's a scripture in Romans chapter 10, verse 9 that says that if you shall confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus and believe in your heart that God actually raised him from the dead, you will be saved. These aren't my words. These are the words of the Bible. And I honestly believe to God that you can see him just like I know I'm going to see him. I just want to encourage you that there is something better than what he is right now. And we're gonna see someday. I really wanna see him, see him face to face someday. And that's the whole song. So uh, if somebody recognized that hymn at the very end, type in the comments what you think that hymn is. So for you guys that are coming in late, I'm talking about the process behind writing these particular songs here that I have that I'm sharing with you today. This song was called "The Tribute" by my band, Jermaine Morgan Band. When we recorded this record here, we released this. I want to say about 4 years ago. We released this song, and so I just wanted again to do a song and to pay tribute initially to my grandma, but I also wanted it to be a song of healing for other people who have experienced the loss of loved ones. And, it'd be one of those songs you can listen to. It takes you through a period, almost like a grieving type thing. But at the end, there's a solution at the end, but there's also, it comes to a point where you're okay, right? So that was like, for me, that was the mindset, the thought, so to speak, behind the song. So as a writer, it's really interesting. I was again sharing with my kids. I talk to my kids a lot about what I'm doing musically, and this is all on the heels of me right now working on a new record. And I try to be really intentional about the music that I create, because as much as I'm doing it, and it's my ideas and this kind of thing, I also am aware of the listener, and I want to make sure that the listener is having a really good experience from what they're hearing. And ain't just a song. Okay, that was cool. That's a nice beat, and there's some up tempo stuff. There's some stuff that's, more solo driven throughout the record, and even on the record that I'm working on. But most of the time as a writer, personally, some songs have lyrics, some songs are instrumental. The challenge instrumental sometimes for me when writing songs is just making sure that even with there being no lyrics, that the message is received the right way, if I could say that. And I want to say this to you songwriters, and you people coming up. Maybe you're not coming up. Maybe you've been out there doing it for a while. Be mindful of what goes into the music. Like I'm really, really careful about when I record. I learned that a long time ago, that I don't record if I'm feeling like, if I'm angry and all that kind of stuff. If I got some kind of weird emotion, I try not to record, because believe it or not, this stuff is spiritual. And what you're feeling, these emotions and these things that you have, it comes out of you, because remember, your hands are an extension of your voice. So it comes out of you and it goes into that instrument. It goes into that recording, and it comes out to the listener of the ear of the listener rather. And they can feel that. They can feel if you got anxiety. I mean, some people in the secular world, I believe, use that to their advantage. That's why you can listen to a blues record, and if you're not careful, it ain't just a good beat. It ain't just a good guitar solo. You start feeling down, because what's in that person at the time they're creating that music, it gets into you. So you have to be mindful of those things as artists, as creatives, as people who write music. To me, it's like you're being spiritually aware of exactly what you're doing, and knowing, knowing the effects of what it is you're putting into the music, and not being really careless. I mean, I'm mad. I'm going to go take it all out on the music. I'm just going to go for blood. Yeah, you'll have a lot of passion in it, and you might like what you play because your skill is still your skill, but there will be something else behind what you're doing that's being superimposed on somebody else if you're not really, really careful with that. So I appreciate it. I see somebody saying they added that to their playlist, and good afternoon to those of you who are watching live, I'm going to play one other song. So we finished that song again called The Tribute. And the whole idea of that song was a person going through their life, transitioning, and hopefully going to heaven. Now, this particular song that I wrote, Song of Angels, is so cool. I'm going to share this. I didn't have it pulled up on my phone because I didn't have any intention on sharing this. Just as I'll throw this out there as a way to remember the music that you create, or when you have an idea. We got these smartphones. Record the idea. You'd be surprised how many songs I've produced for other people. Maybe they couldn't produce the song, but if they could get the idea out of their head and just record it, put it down, I could take the song and make it into something. So let me see if I can find this really quick, because I didn't have any intention on playing this particular song, but I did have an idea. Let's see if this is it. There it is. So I got this recording. I'm letting y'all, this is like I guess a little intimate session where I'm letting y'all in on the creative process behind how I create. There are very few songs that I've written and created that I've heard the song all the way through for the most part. Well, heard the biggest part of the song. The song I just played was one of those songs I heard it beforehand. Before I did it, I heard the song. And this is another one. So like I recorded this idea on my phone in 2016, November the 6th, 2016. And I want you to just hear the process of how I heard. This is all I heard. I heard more in my mind, but this is all I could record with my mouth. Excuse my singing. And that's pretty much the concept of the song. And so I had that, and I said, okay, let me take this. I'm going to run with it. And so this is what I came up with from this song. The song is called A Song of Angels. Here it is. Hold on here. one right there. And that's pretty much the whole song in a nutshell. So just to kind of wrap this pretty much up, like the process behind all of this, I will say this, and I appreciate you guys that have hung around all the way this far in the video, because I don't have a bass in my hand. And I know for some people, he ain't got no bass. I'm going to click off of the video. Thank you for those of you who hung around this far into the video to kind of hear the process if you want to know about the writing and the process. Now, this is one shifting thing for me. And I will encourage you guys who are working on your own music or who look to work on your own music someday, like definitely learn, you know, if you want to get into writing or get into an industry where you're working with different artists. And I'm not going to go name off people that I work with and all that, because that's irrelevant. But I want to say I have worked, you know, as a writer, as a producer for a good while now, for some years. I've done this. And I will say you will need to be familiar with how to do it and learning the rules, that kind of thing. But also, and this is the shift for me, don't lose your individuality as a writer, as a producer, as a creative, because that's one thing that shifted for me. When I went and did this Dreams Work Reality, these two projects, for me, it was like getting back to my original roots of how I created music, because I feel like I started drifting away from how I hear music and the way that I write. Because if you're not careful, you can try so hard to fit into this box of what people have created or what the industry has created. And for me as a producer at the time, years before, I was falling into that same box, because I mean, it's easy to do because you're trying, as a writer and producer, you're trying to get stuff placed on artists. You want to get people to listen to your music. And so you're trying to fit what's on the radio. You're trying to be radio friendly. You're trying to stay within 3 minutes or 3.5 to 4 minutes, that whole thing. So you want, you know, you have your best shot at getting your song placed. And I noticed that my creativity got stifled by being in this box. But when I got back away from trying to sound and be like everybody else, it allowed me the freedom. That, not to say that you don't know how to fit the mold of, okay, if they need just a regular, you know, cookie cutter, I'll call it that. They need a regular cookie cutter song. You know the recipe for how to do that. But you don't want to get so much into that mode that you are no longer creative. You're no longer creating music that is true, pure, coming from you, what God gave you to create. So I would encourage you to explore who you are as a musician. Explore everything that you've gotten from the time you were a kid all the way up until now. Implement those things into your writing. There are so many things that I pull from when I'm creating music. I mean, there's so many different things, and what you'll find, they call it in business, they call it USP, unique selling point. As a writer, you have a unique thing about you as a songwriter, as a creative. There's something unique about you, and we call it in the musician world finding your sound. You don't really have to find it, but you want to work on having your sound. Everybody wants their own thing that makes them easily recognizable. Well, what I've discovered is that as you begin to focus on like what your strengths are, lean into that, lean into what your life experiences are. Like for me, I'm growing up hearing, blues, gospel, quartet, a little bit of everything. And as I moved on and got into band and all that stuff, I'm starting to hear orchestra, and I'm starting to hear band music. I'm starting to hear all these things. And later I get into jazz, playing in the jazz band, getting a lot of big band influences. And so it's like a big bowl of gumbo in terms of all of the stuff. But there are dominant things that stand out in your sound. There are dominant things that are going to stand out. And those dominant things are typically the thing that you spent the most time doing. Obviously, for me, that was church. Obviously, for me, there was a lot of quartet music mixed with a little soul music, which is one and the same as far as a lot of the things in terms of the sound. So a lot of those things are dominant in my music. So when I started doing stuff like jazz, or I don't even know if my stuff classifies as smooth jazz, but when I started taking solos and liberties, they always had a little hint of the soulful element that sounds like a soulful singer. So I started to lean into that. That became something that was game changing for me in terms of helping to develop my sound. So if you guys are writing and you're looking to improve your writing, lean into your strengths, lean into the things that you do well already. And I guarantee that's going to be life changing for you. So anyway, if you guys enjoyed this, me kind of deep diving into these songs, I'd love to do more of that. If you as the audience are interested in that. If you're not, I don't want to waste time doing these videos. It'd be interesting to talk about, but I only want to do it if you guys are interested to hear about these songs, hear more of this music. I got a lot of music that we could go through and we can kind of pull it apart, and then I can answer some questions about what were you thinking when you created that? Those types of things I'll be happy to do. But let me know in the comments what you think about this. And again, thank you for hanging out this far in the video. If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on my notifications. You never know when I'm going to pop up like this live. And I see somebody was saying, man, it's good to see you creating content or putting videos out again. And I get the sentiment, but please turn on the notifications, because I've been putting out a lot of content for some time now, consistently. So there's a lot of videos you might have missed thinking I've been gone, and I've been right here, and I've been putting out a lot of videos. I don't go live as often as I used to, but if you go to my channel, there's a lot of videos. There's a lot of content that I've been putting out lately. So I've been around. I've been here. So I encourage you guys to go check that out. And I will catch up with you all on the next video. Again, thank y'all. I'm out. Peace.